Have you ever been frustrated after you've hired somebody, 2 weeks later they get hurt on the job, and then you find out later that this was an aggravation of a pre-existing condition and this person has had 3 previous back injuries? The best defense is a good offense. The problem is most employers don't do any type of post-offer or pre-employment testing, and this leaves them exposed to the injuries that can possibly occur when hiring an individual who isn't either physically strong enough to do the job or an employee who has pre-existing conditions likely to be aggravated by the demands of the job. The best solution that we've found so far is a test that can be done on a pre-employment basis that has a 99% certainty of matching the capabilities of the worker to the physical demands of the job. The employers who do pre-employment or post-offer strength testing, for the most part, use a traditional technique that involves sending the applicant to a physical therapy location where the applicant is required to go through a series of exercises that simulate the job. The problem with that type of testing is that it's very subjective in nature and on a nationwide basis has about a 1% rejection rate of the applicants who take such a test. After evaluating the situation, we found a technology called isokinetic strength testing. This is a technology that was originally developed to rehabilitate workers injured on the job, athletes injured in the performance of their sport. This technology, however, is capable of objectively measuring the strength of a candidate in 3 primary body parts. Because it's an objective test, it's much more capable of successfully placing that applicant to the physical demands of the job that's being offered. When we evaluated an investment in this technology, we compared the rejection rate of the traditional form of pre-employment or post-offer strength testing versus what the technology offered. With the technology that we've invested in, it has a rejection rate of approximately 15% in a population of candidates sent for a strength test. Versus the 1% rejection rate for the traditional technology, it was a no-brainer. Isokinetic strength testing measures the strength of a candidate in 3 primary body parts. The trunk, which is a function of core and hamstring muscles, the knees, which are a function of the quads and the hamstring muscles, and the shoulder joint, which is a function of the strength in the shoulder. These 3 muscle groups account for 83% of the muscles used in the performance of heavy work. In order to use this technology, it's first important to evaluate the actual demands of the job. In those cases, we complete a job task assessment that quantitatively determines exactly the physical demands of the job that you would like to do testing for. Once we establish what the strength requirement is for the job, a candidate comes in to take the test. The test produces a number in terms of the strength that the individual has. That number and their strength is measured against what the demands of the job are. And the candidate is either accepted for the job or rejected on the basis that they don't possess enough strength to safely complete the job. Another benefit of the isokinetic testing technology is if you have a candidate take the test, the candidate passes the test, what's happened is you've now created a baseline that follows that employee through their working career with your company. If the employee at some point in the future claims an injury to one of the 3 body parts tested, during the handling of the claim, they take the test again, the results of the test are compared against their baseline. And at that point, it's determined whether or not that employee has suffered an injury based upon their loss of use compared to the baseline. It's important to understand that this test doesn't have to be applied for every candidate that comes to your company. Clerical jobs, lighter duty jobs don't have to be tested, and that's legal under the ADA. We recommend testing the most physically demanding jobs and as many jobs as you possibly can that do require some level of physical exertion. Many employers are extremely concerned about the legality of performing pre-employment or post-offer testing. That was a concern that we needed to address. What we learned is that performing strength testing on a pre-employment basis subjects the employer to less legal liability than the traditional form of post-offer strength testing, and therefore is the better choice for employers. Many employers are concerned about the Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA, and the impact that that has on hiring decisions. The isokinetic strength test, because it is measuring a person's ability to complete a job, is a legal test under the ADA. We oftentimes compare it to filling a data entry job where an applicant is required to type 80 words per minute. This test requires that a candidate possess a certain amount of strength in order to perform the necessary and essential functions of the job. This is what makes this test legal under the ADA. Many of our customers are concerned about the use of strength testing in a union environment. What we found is that many of our clients have successfully implemented the strength testing in a union environment, the argument being that the union promises to send ready and able labor to the client to perform the work. This test simply validates and verifies that that candidate who's being sent to the job is in fact capable of performing the duties of the job. We talk to so many companies that are frustrated because they hire an employee only to find out 2 weeks later that they've aggravated a pre-existing condition and now they're paying for the 4th back surgery. Hiring practices don't have to be the luck of the draw. Technology like this can help you select the best employees, place them on the job, and avoid the tremendous costs associated with soft tissue injuries.